So the two women who are at the top of the music industry right now are Beyonce and Taylor Swift. Instead of competing, these two artists and their labels even move album release debuts around so they both get a chance to shine. But let's just face it, it's not all rosy. They've also dealt with criticism from parents who may not be so on board with the messaging. Now, joining me now are the hosts of the 13 podcast. They are radio personalities and hosts of the nationally syndicated Kid Craddock Morning Show. We've got Anna Szabo, Nick Adams, and Lacey G. Thank you, you three. I'm so glad to have you this morning. I actually started in the radio industry, so this is nostalgia for me. It's kind of coming back home in full circle and talking about artists. But these guys are iconic in today's terms. So Anna, let's start with you. What is it about these two artists that have such allure?
I mean, they are, obviously, like, I'm a little biased because I host a 13 podcast, but both Taylor Swift and Beyonce are living legends. I truly believe so. I mean, if you look at their careers, they've had careers of 15 plus years. And we're gonna look back at their careers for years and years to come. And I think it's incredible that we get to experience it in real time. Like, we are seeing both Taylor and Beyonce just make history time and time again. And we get to experience that, and I think that's incredible. But I mean, I think part of it is, you know, their music and their art truly comes from the heart. I think so. I think, you know, if you look at Beyonce's album, even with Cowboy Carter, it's so rich in history and culture. And you look at Taylor's album and it's rich in literature. And it's just, it's an incredible thing to experience both of them, especially together at the same time. Yeah,
Lacey, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the relationship. We mentioned that they will pivot and move album release dates to honor and respect one another. So from the outside in, talk a little bit to that.
I think it's amazing to see two powerful women empowering each other and supporting each other instead of being pitted against each other. They both celebrate each other for what they're doing and continue to break records and make moves that other people weren't willing to do. So I think that's incredible.
Yeah, Nick, let's talk about the genre shift. I mean, we talked about Beyonce's Carter Country, the whole shift into the country scene. Taylor has obviously pivoted between pop, indie rock. How unique is this for these two popular artists to be able to do that in today's day?
Yeah, it's very difficult. If you're an artist signed to a major label, it's a big no-no to switch up your genre because the music label, they are investing so much money into marketing your album, producing your album, making sure people go to your concerts. So to switch that up, that's a risky thing. But people like Beyonce, like Taylor, they are the biggest people in the industry. Yeah. So they know, along with their record labels, they know a calculated risk is okay to take at times because if they release an album that's a flop, it's not going to affect their bank account. It's not going to affect their status in the music industry. The record label is still going to sell a ton of albums. So they know that they can get away with it a little bit. But now with the internet, you're going to see a lot more artists doing that because you can make an album in your bedroom and put it online. Yeah. And you don't have to listen to a record label what they say.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, the whole industry has changed. Yeah. You guys have been up listening to the drop, right? It was one album, then there was the surprise album. Talk to that. I just want to state for the record, I mean, our audience are midlife women, so the moms of the young girls, young boys who are listening to this music. So few choice words involved in that. Some of the messaging has been cause for concern for some of the parents. So how do you speak to that?
I would like to say that they're not writing specifically for children, and then it's up to the parents if they want them to be able to listen to it. It's not geared towards children, but it is still, children are welcome. She has plenty of young fans. She has plenty of older fans too. So I don't think that she's writing from her experience and what she wants to say. It's not geared towards 9-year-olds, but they're more than welcome to listen to it if they want to. She has some choice words in there, but in my opinion, nothing that you wouldn't already hear on the radio anyway.
But she's also writing about like lessons she's learned in life. And so, yeah, you may not have your 9-year-old listen to a certain song that's a little steamy or spicy. You probably don't want to hear about that, but eventually you can still let your young children learn from the mistakes of other people. And Taylor Swift and Beyonce, they call themselves out on mistakes they've made and say like, hey, I messed up, don't do it yourself. But that doesn't mean that's for 5-year-olds to listen to.
Right.
You know? Just like a movie. You know, you're not going to let a 5-year-old watch a rated R movie. it's up to the parents to decide what they can hear and when.
Right, a good point. And I mean, they are notorious for writing about their lives, and everybody jokes, oh, you don't want to be a part of their past because it's coming out in song and it'll make them millions.